In the heart of winter, when the world outside was hushed and white under a blanket of snow, our old boarding school stood like a silent guardian of stories. The wind howled its lonely song around the ancient stone walls, and inside, we, the children of Blackwood Manor, huddled together, our breath misting in the chilly air. That evening, a fierce blizzard had swept through the valley, plunging our world into an unexpected darkness. The power was gone, and with it, the familiar hum of the old building. A deep, unnerving silence fell upon us, broken only by the rattling of window panes and the faint, nervous whispers of my classmates. Fear, cold and sharp, began to creep into the corners of the grand hall. Thionga. Children started to cry, their small sobs echoing in the vast, dark space. We were isolated, a tiny island in a sea of swirling snow, an impenetrable night. It felt as though the world had forgotten us. Just as despair began to take hold, a single, steady flame flickered to life in the highest window of the east tower, the headmistress's study. It was just one small candle, but its light cut through the oppressive darkness like a promise. We all gathered by the large windows of the common room, our faces pressed against the cold glass, watching that solitary light. It wasn't much, but it was enough. It was a beacon, a sign that we were not alone, that someone was watching over us. The headmistress, Mrs. Eleanor Vance, was a woman of few words but profound wisdom. She didn't come down to offer platitudes or false reassurances. Instead, she lit a candle. That simple act spoke volumes. It said, "I am here. Be calm. There is still light." Hours passed. Thick. The candlelight in the window never wavered. It became our anchor in the storm. We started telling stories to pass the time, our voices growing stronger, our fears slowly melting away in the warmth of our shared company. We imagined the candle was a star fallen from the sky just for us, or a magical flame that would keep the monsters of the storm at bay. It was a silly game, but it worked. The shared light in that distant window bound us together. Then, through the howling wind, we heard a faint, desperate cry for help. Peering out into the blizzard, we could just make out a figure stumbling through the deep snow, lost and disoriented. It was a traveler, caught in the storm, his own lantern long since extinguished. He had seen the light from our window. That tiny, flickering flame, the one Mrs. Vance had lit, had guided him through the blinding snow, leading him to the safety of our doorstep. We rushed to help him, bringing him inside to the warmth of the kitchens where the old wood stove still glowed. As he thawed out, sipping hot broth, he told us he had been completely lost, ready to give up. "That light," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It saved my life." Nev. In that moment, we all understood. The headmistress hadn't just lit a candle to comfort us. She had lit it for anyone who might be lost in the dark. The next morning, the sun rose over a sparkling, transformed world. The power returned, and the familiar sounds of the school came back to life. But something within us had changed. We looked at the candle, now just a stub of wax on the headmistress's windowsill, with a new kind of reverence. It taught us a lesson far more profound than any book could offer. That even the smallest act of kindness, the tiniest flicker of light, can be a beacon of hope in someone's deepest darkness. It doesn't take grand gestures to change the world sometimes. All it takes is a single candle in a window. Thank you for sharing this moment with us.